South Wales. Welcome back. Hope everyone had a happy and safe Christmas and New Year. All the best for 2022. What am I up to today? Well, this is the first video I'm recording or doing in 2022. First one we're filming. So what is it? Well, I picked these boxes up last year and the idea is I'm going to convert them into a camping setup. So everyone knows you can buy full-size canopies for thousands and thousands of dollars, but we don't all have an unlimited budget, and if you can do something a little bit more cost effective, frees up funds for other things on your car, other modifications. So what I'm going to do is install a fridge slide in here. I've got a battery box and a battery that are going to go in the open dog cage on the other side, but my fridge and my electrical system is going to go in here. We're going to put in a wall on that side, like a false wall, and then I'm going to run all my electrical through to the dog cage and the battery box on the other side, which will basically be Anderson plugged in or hardwired in. Haven't quite got that far yet, but what I'm going to do today is get started on this, show you the process. So I'll open this up. I just want to say too, these boxes I did pick up last year from Supercheap. They're just brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I bought them myself, I paid for them. I will give you a disclaimer, I did get a slight discount on them because I said I was going to do a video on them, but the main reason I went with this brand, it's made exclusively for Supercheap. It's the ToolPro brand and they are made in Australia. When I started to look around for a dog box set up to go across the headboard as opposed to the original box I had down the side of the ute when I first bought it, I hunted around. There's heaps of brands. There's Apex, there's Toolmate, there's they're countless anyway. There's heaps of brands on the market, but they're all imported. They all come in from China. There was only one company, Toolmate, that said they can build an identical box to what they import and make it here in Australia, but it was literally twice the price. And anything custom, you know, fabrication work, same thing, you're looking at sort of $1,500, $2,000 minimum. These ones retail at $549 for this closed-in style, and on the other side is an open dog cage, which I'll show you in a minute. That one, open cage style, was $499. So for $1,049, it's basically the same pricing as what all the imported Chinese stuff was. Now, nothing wrong with some of the Chinese made. Obviously it is cheaper usually, but I want to support Aussie made wherever I can. Anyone that watches the channel knows that. That's why I buy drifter products wherever possible if they've got what I'm after, because a lot of their stuff is made in Australia. All the original drifter bags, all made up in Gloucester. So I generally try and support Aussie made wherever I can, and probably now with all this COVID nonsense over the last 18 months, 2 years, it's more important than ever. I can't stress it enough. As someone that works in an industry that is affected by supply chain problems, and we see what happens at work, it is so important. It's crucial. If you can buy Australian made and you can afford to buy Australian made, I recommend it highly. So that was the biggest reason I went with this brand, because it was made in Australia. Good quality as well, very good quality. A quick Google search of a lot of the Chinese boxes, you will see people that have had issues with the welding coming apart. They don't do full seam welding like that. They tend to tack weld a lot of stuff internally, so they only put spots every so many 100 mil or 200 mil, whatever the case, whereas these are fully seam weld, so it's a lot stronger. And a lot of the cheaper boxes, they actually make them up, and there are a couple of clips on YouTube, one recently where the bloke's box failed. When you lift the doors up, the hinges, where the hinges mount inside the box, they had actually come away and there's huge gaps. All the welding had come apart. I'll put a link below. Hopefully that noise is not too windy, but I'll put a link below to his video just so you can see what can happen with some of the imported stuff. In his video he does show that it's not even made from a solid piece of checker plate. It's all smaller bits that they've sort of smudged together and then welded up. So obviously the integrity of it goes out the window when you start patchwork quilting a box. So these are all big solid pieces, full seam weld, even detail in the pop rivets, they've been siliconed as well to stop moisture getting in. I've had these on since late last year, and we've had obviously all that rain. I haven't had any water get into them yet. It's only when you lift the door up, if any water's sitting in the little channel at the bottom, it might drip down on your feet. But other than that, they're fully sealed, they're waterproof, watertight. I haven't done any internal silicone or anything. It's literally been straight out of the factory, welded, super sturdy. So I'll crack it open anyway. I just wanted to mention that on the boxes, and the reason why I went with the ToolPro brand, because they are Australian made. So let's get into it. I have got some stuff stored in there, so I'll pop this lid up, I'll empty it out, and I'll run through what we're going to do for my camping setup. The main reason we've done this too, just quickly, is camp setups are like vehicles, so they always evolve. We've got the trailer that we take away, and we really love the trailer, but we mainly had that when we were going camping with other families for extended periods of time, so you literally could take everything away you needed. Now that we're down to camping more so on our own, just due to circumstances, and we don't have as many people come with us, we don't necessarily have to take as much stuff away. You know, if you've got the room, you tend to take stuff. I've always liked to take it and not need it, then need it and not have taken it, if that makes sense. But now we've sort of managed to squeeze down a lot of stuff. These boxes are going to be sufficient for when we do a 1 or 2 night weekend away somewhere. A dog box set up properly is great for day trips, so you've got a fridge in there, you can have obviously food, drinks, anything that needs to be cold, instead of having a fridge bounce around on the back seat. It can all go in there on a slide. I'm also going to make it like a little mini, not a kitchen, but I'm going to put a ply shelf in, so it's a little bit more organised. The fridge will take up a fair bit of room. The slide is about 5 mil, maybe less, on either side than the opening, which you'll see anyway, but that's the main reason we've gone to this setup. So it's just about evolving. We're still keeping the trailer. I'm taking the battery out of the trailer, and it is supposed to be 135 amp. I'm going to do another video on that. Actually, I'm a little bit annoyed about the mob that I bought that battery through, so I'll put links below when that video is done. But it is supposedly a 135 amp hour, so it's got plenty of power in it, or it should have. That's what I bought and paid for. It'll fit in the battery box. I do have another battery which was supposed to be a 135 amp. I've had it load tested and it's only 40 amp, hence why I'm not happy with that company. So that's a battery Dane, my mate, gave me. I had it load tested. It's not going to be sufficient to run a fridge for a couple of days, so hopefully my battery is 135 amp hour. That's going to go in the battery box on the other side. My original reversing lights that were on the ute when I bought it, a couple of little Navara LEDs, twin LEDs. I've taken them off the back and replaced those with some bigger LEDs for a bit brighter light. I'll have lighting on this side under the awning where I put my swag, and we're going to have a light on the other side for general setups. So anyway, so without further ado, I'll open this up, empty it out, I'll get the fridge slide out, and I'll show you what we're doing. Cheers, guys. Alright, I'll open this up. Now, as you can see, I've got plenty of room in here to work with. From the back of the wall to the inside of the lip, that's around 835 mil, and then across the width of it internally, we've got 700. So 700 mil in width, 830 from there to the lip where the latch catches, and overall height is around 780. So what my plan is, I'm going to have a plywood floor. I've still got some form ply left from when I did the trail slide. I'm going to put that in as a shelf. So I'm going to have a cutout, or ideally I'm going to have a cutout on the sides for both our gas cooker and our little jet boil burner. And then, if room permits, with the height of the fridge and how I can fix to it, I was thinking about getting some checker plate and making a little shelf on the top here just to slide in our day trip coffee bag. Normally with this empty, what I have been doing is I've got a big drifter bag and we just throw everything in that, our cups, our coffee bag, anything that we use day to day, and I just throw that in there with the gas cooker, but it's obviously bouncing around and there's not going to be that much room down here once the fridge slide goes in, because the fridge slide's a decent size. So that's the idea. I'll have a couple of cutouts in the floor there and a couple on that side just to put our awning sidewall, and we've got a little bag that has our awning pegs and the plug for the light that I installed under the awning. So that'll be a bit more user friendly. I'll have that in the floor. The way I'm going to do this, and I've just sat that in water. Where is it? This one. Okay, now that it's been sitting in water on my tray, I've worked the measurements out. I'm basically going to come in from the edge of the side about 100 mil, 4 inches. That'll leave room to put the tent peg bag that I mentioned and a couple of other little gas cans or whatever down the side. I've got some 50 by 50 gal posts. Now at my work we sell and supply fencing material. I just grabbed a length, 2.4 metre length of some 50 by 50 gal posts, and I've cut it to fit in there. Essentially that's going to be the rail that the shelf floor will sit on. Had I have done 65 by 65, I could have bolted those straight down and I wouldn't need any ply on there. The reason I've done it, the lip on the front of the box here sits up roughly 60 to 65 mil from the ground. So obviously I needed to get up high enough so the fridge slide would clear that and the fridge can pull out. So instead of just doing 65 by 65 channel and nothing on top because the height would come up even further again, I've gone with a 50 by 50. I'm going to bolt those down through the box and through the tray. Then the plywood will sit on that, and then obviously the fridge slide will bolt down either into the ply or ideally through the ply and into these metal channels as well, just to make it really secure. So that's the idea. We'll have 50 by 50, leave roughly a gap in the center of a couple of 100 mil, another 50 by 50, and then whatever room is spare on either side we can utilise. So that's the plan. Now I'll do some marking up. These rails, if you like, the supports, they're going to be determined I guess by the width of the fridge slide feet. So I'll get that out and I'll measure that up and work out where these need to go, and then I can go down through that and start drilling some holes and bolting some stuff in. So yeah, I'll get into it. Okay, hopefully the camera angle's okay. My silly suction cup mount just broke, so I've had to dodge that up on a makeshift stand. So yeah, bear with us folks. Okay, so this box, sorry if it's a bit echoey too, but it's it's essentially a big boom box. So what we're going to do, so I've measured the fridge slide and the L angle feet of it. I've got 490 millimeters of allowance, so essentially the sides will come down and then the flat foot will bolt down onto these channels, as I mentioned. So it's just a matter of setting these out in the right spot, then drilling down through them. I've got a step drill, which is one of those ones that looks like a little Christmas tree, so you just keep going further and further down until you get the diameter hole you need. I'll use that. I'll punch a couple of holes in the top of this, and then on the other side obviously a smaller diameter hole so the bolt can drop down through here that I can get a socket on, but the hole on the bottom side will be the right diameter and the bolt will just drop down through the tray, and then I can put a nut on from underneath. I've secured the box down in the 4 corners with some high tensile bolts and some big flat mudguard washers or mud flat washers, and that's holding it onto the tray. So essentially these will help also stiffen the whole thing up, and then the slide can go on there. Now as far as the slide goes, I did end up getting onto a Kings or Adventure Kings Titan fridge slide. Grab and sit in there. Now just on the fridge slide, I did have a hunt around. I found one company, ORS, that make an Australian made fridge slide. However, they were $370 odd. Now I know I did say wherever possible buy Aussie made. It's the sort of thing, if you can afford it, it is fantastic to support Aussie made, and I try and do every bit that I can. However, as this is a hobby and it's not a earning living as such, it's very hard to justify that extra couple of $100. Now these Titan fridge slides I think near about 120 bucks. This is the smaller size, which will take up to a 40 or a 60 litre fridge. I picked this up on Facebook last weekend, 50 bucks. The guy changed vehicles or setups and it didn't fit his new car or his new setup. He listed it Friday night, contacted him. I went over Saturday and picked it up from the Northern Beaches. So, you know, good quick purchase. Seems to work fine, no issues. So I just thought it's worth mentioning. I'm not anti-King's product. I don't like the company and what they've done to the industry and certain other manufacturers in the industry. I don't think their business model is the best. It's not ideal, but I won't go into that anyway. But their products aren't too bad. Some of their stuff's a bit ordinary, but I don't think these are too bad. I did even price up getting a company just to make up this black section, essentially like a big cake tin, folded, welded, whatever they do. A couple of them quoted 100, one bloke was 150, and I ummed and I went, well, is it worth 100 to 150 to buy a custom made one of these to use 2 fridge slides that are worth 30 bucks that I could pull out of the trailer? So when that one came up, I grabbed it, 50 bucks, can't argue. So you can see it fits in, does fit in quite well. Now I'll take the camera off here and I'll just show you. So you can see there, I literally have maybe 20 mil that side and about 20 mil or less that side. So I'm thinking I might even, instead of having it whack bang in the center, I might move it over to one side so that I've got a little bit more room on one side. And as you can see, it won't clear. I don't think it'll clear there at the moment as is, but once I put that 12 mil ply on plus my 50 by 50 post, we'll bring it up high enough to cover that little lip so that the slide will slide straight out. Naturally now it's starting to belt down rain. We couldn't do this before Christmas because of the heat. Now it's raining. I'm going to pack up a bit of this gear and I'll come back out shortly if I can. Murphy's Law. And just a real quick thing too, Explore Ranger. Thank you very much to Daniel and Bianca. I entered a photo on their Instagram page. They had a bit of a competition, a Christmas giveaway, and I put a photo up. They wanted the best camping photo that you've got, so I sent one in and I was one of the 4 or 5 people drawn, and lucky dip, got a t-shirt in the post, a couple of stickers and a stubby cool. So thanks a lot Daniel and Bianca. For anyone that hasn't seen Explore Ranger's channel, check them out. They do all sorts of really cool custom stuff to his ute, camping trips, all that sort of thing. So yeah, thanks guys, just thought it was worth a quick mention.